Welcome. Let's begin our conversation tonight with developments in Kano State. Tonight, the Kano State Working Committee of Nigeria's ruling All Progressives Congress saying it has nullified the suspension of Abdullahi Ganduje, who's the national chairman of the party. Now, party executives, this is what happened. Party executives in Ganduje's ward, this is Dawakin ward in Tofa, local government area of Kano State, earlier today, declaring that they suspended Ganduje, the national chairman of the party, over the allegations of corruption leveled against him, insisting that the past governor of the state has to be cleared, that's Ganduje, has to be cleared of the allegations for the suspension to be lifted. Don't forget that he is being charged to court by the Kano State government over bribery allegations. A few hours later, a counter move by the party's state working committee, declaring the said suspension by the ward excos nullified, with Abdullahi Abbas, who is the chairman of the APC in Kano State, alleging that the ward executives who suspended Ganduje are working with the new Nigeria People's Party, that's the ruling party in Kano State. And the State Working Committee going on to announce through the party's state chairman the suspension of the ward executives for 6 months. So the suspenders have been suspended. Wow, a lot going on in Kano State. This follows last week's a decision by the court to arraign him on charges of bribery. This is the Kano State Anti-Corruption Agency. Well, what do we make of these developments? Joining us tonight on Politics HQ to help make sense of today's developments in the Kano State in APC, we have none other than Okelo Madukife. He is the Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Anambra State. Mr. Madukife, good evening to you. Quite a whirlwind day in your party. Welcome.
Indeed. Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, viewers. It's a whirlwind day, actually. Things are proceeding at a very fast pace.
The leadership of the APC in Kano State are alleging that these ward excos who, surprisingly, out of nowhere, suspended Abdullahi Ganduje, national chairman of the party, are in the pockets of the NNPP. Is this something you find to be the case?
Well, I have no way of knowing. As you know, and as you rightly introduced me, I'm all the way in Anambra State. Things are developing at a dizzying pace. I cannot say that there's a total picture as yet. However, I can only sum up that it is democracy at work. So there is room for allegations to be made, but there's also room for it to be proven. Does the ward have a right to suspend a member of the ward? Yes, that's the answer is yes. Do higher hierarchies, such as local government and state, have a right to reverse the decision on the basis of their own assessment of the situation? Yes, that is at play. But as we proceed, we might begin to encounter which stands in better stead in line with the constitution of the APC.
Interesting. We'll get to that point. I also like to bring in at this juncture Sam Yohana. Sam Yohana is the immediate past organizing secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Kaduna State. Sam Yohana, good evening to you. It's great to have you on the program tonight.
Thank you for this opportunity. Good evening.
Good evening. Well, Madukife says he's in faraway Anambra State, and he can't really tell if the allegation by the chairman of the APC in Kano State that these ward executives who suspended Ganduje are working with or conniving with the NNPP in Kano State. But he's given his thoughts on the development. I want your thoughts on this development, and if you can go ahead to even hazard a guess as to whether it's true that the excos are working for the NNPP.
Yeah, thank you. Like my colleague from Anambra was saying, does the ward ESCO have the right to suspend a party member? Yes, they do, because that is the foundation of the party organ. From the ward level, then it comes to the local government level, then the celebrity the national level. But whether this suspension will be ratified by the higher organs, that I cannot tell. But like I read a few minutes ago on a Guardian newspaper where ward ESCOs at the Gwanjo ward, that's Dawakin Tofa local government, where Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje is from, sat and had a meeting where they deliberated and passed a resolution that he suspended. Well, I am yet to confirm that whether it has been ratified or it's official. So
yes, but sir,
really
Mr. Johanna, I'm asking you if you feel or you agree.
Right,
yeah, Mr. Johanna, I'm asking if you agree that these excos are working for the NNPP. That's what the state's party chairman is, Abdullahi Abbas, is saying, that they're working for the NNPP.
Yeah, we never can tell if executives elected by the party at the ward level will be handing gloves with the ruling party in Kano State. I never can tell. And I found it strange for them to get involved in this kind of shenanigan. But like I said earlier on, time will tell. And I'm sure they did that in respect to the investigation that the governor of Kano State had decided to constitute a committee to investigate the stewardship of the former governor of Kano State. We'll see how it plays out.
Interesting. Marukife, do you suspect that this is connected, like your counterpart, Johanna, said, with the Kano State government's drive to prosecute Ganduje?
Well, of course, I have no way of knowing because it's also linked to your first question as to whether they are in bed with the opposition. But what is a fact, an undeniable fact, is that the government of the day in Kano State is moving to prosecute the immediate past governor, who happens to be the national chairman of our great party. Whether he is found guilty or not is a different matter altogether, because that's an accusation, as it were. Whether political opportunists take advantage of it, of course, it is allowed, because in this game, you cannot do it without conflicts. So that's what we are seeing, and that's what is playing out. It will be too early in the day to be able to be conclusive with facts, because a lot of things are still under the table.
Okay, Johanna, what are your thoughts on this prosecution of Abdullahi Ganduje on allegations of bribery by the Kano State government?
Well, if I might chip in, there's nothing wrong with investigation, but let it be a transparent investigation, and let it not be that there's a witch hunt there. If the present governor of Kano State wants to be fair in this investigation, let him go back to the tenure of his political godfather, that's Alhaji Kwankwaso, and start investigation from there. And like I said sometimes ago on AIT, that investigation should not be an avenue of trying to witch hunt or trying to blackmail someone. Because if we look back, Ganduje worked with Kwankwaso, and throughout that 8 years period, and handed over to Ganduje now. So let the investigation be widened. Let it not be narrowed only to the stewardship of Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje. And like I said, the governor has the right to constitute an investigative panel, but let it be transparent, and let it not be that he is up to something and someone somewhere is foiling this investigation and trying to give a dog a bad name to hang the dog. So like I said, it's work in progress, and there's nothing wrong about it. And I'm sure at the end of the day, if it is done properly, the truth shall be unveiled, and whoever is involved, I mean, if there are facts and figures, should be able to defend he or herself.
All right. We'll look some more about the case against the Ganduje and the insinuations that this may be not unconnected to that. Thanks for your time, Sam Johanna. Okelo Madukife will be right back. For those of you watching at home, please stay with us. Next one. When is the next one? Okay. Welcome back. We still have members of the All Progressives Congress, Samuel Hannah, immediate past organizing secretary of the APC in Kaduna State, and Okilo Madukife, publicity secretary of the All Progressives Congress, in Anambra State. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time, or should I say, spokesperson of the All Progressives Congress in Anambra State.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Johanna, you made a point which I'd like Madukife to expand on. Mr. Okilo Madukife, Samuel Hannah used the word witch hunt. Now, I know you're playing safe, you're trying hard, not to say what you don't know, what you're not aware of. But if some link, and it is true, what Abdullahi, chairman of your party in Kano State, is saying, that this is the NNPP at work, will this then prove that the prosecution of Ganduje by the state government is in fact a persecution and a political witch hunt? Madukife.
It is a super persecution in the sense that you just mentioned bribery. I would have liked the government of Kano State to take itself more seriously by looking at issues that profile the performance of its previous government within their rights. But the moment you talk about bribery, it sounds to me like a criminal offense, if anybody agrees. And that means you are usurping the duty of the police. It is not the business of the state government to prosecute anyone for bribery, but they can recover their resources if they feel in any way that it's been abused or mischanneled. So once you're talking about bribery and you have a prima facie case, you hand it over to the police. Once you begin to carry on along that line, not only would you be sounding frivolous to those who know, you are usurping the duty of the police. So it's a persecution, but a persecution in which the persecutor does not know the formula to get to his destination.
Samuel Hannah, you first talked about witch hunt. Does this, put in under the spotlight in terms of suspicion, the investigation and prosecution of Ganduje?
Yeah, what I said earlier is, if this is not a witch hunt, like my colleague has said, the relevant authority, which is the police, should have been the one to spearhead this investigation. But now, the government of Kano State, under the leadership of Abba Kabiriso, have decided to take it up, and where he's like a judge, in his own case, where care has to be taken so that the accused, as the alleged, has to be given a fair hearing and given opportunity to, defend himself. I keep saying it, and I'll repeat it again. Let this investigation be dragged back to cover the tenure of Alhaji Kwankwaso up to the tenure of Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje, because they cannot narrow the investigation just to the government of...
But Johanna, nothing has stopped Abdullahi Ganduje, and this, it could be argued that what is going on in Kano State is simply a matter of law. The Kano State Anti-Corruption body, if you look at the laws, probably is empowered to do what it's doing by Kano State laws. We know there's a subsisting federal high court, judgment or is it ruling on the matter. But if it is a matter of law, does it matter whether they're starting with Ganduje or starting with Kwankwaso or starting with those who came before him?
But what we're saying, for fair hearing, and for us to see it as it is a transparent investigation and not a calculated attempt to set up somebody or to try to witch hunt somebody, if it's in the interest of the people of Kano, let the investigation be wider. And I don't know if it's in the purview of the Kano State Anti-Corruption Agency to wade into this.
Yeah, are you there, Johanna?
Okay. Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
All right, let me go back to Madukife and let's go to the party's constitution. I've had an opportunity to go through Article 21 of your constitution, which talks about disciplining or disciplinary party members, those who have the power to discipline. I've seen that the ward executives actually have a power to discipline any party member if the complaint emanated from the polling unit, while the state executives have the power to discipline any member if the complaint emanates from the ward. So will you agree that does the Constitution say that these ward executives have the power to discipline the national chairman? And what is the mode of appeal? That's number one. Well, let's have you answer that question.
No, I don't get the question clearly. Could you come again?
So does your Constitution say that the national chairman can be disciplined by the ward executives? Have they gone about it the right way?
Okay, I'm not in a position to know if they have done the right thing or gone about the right procedure, because I don't have any documents before me. I don't have how they went about it. But I do know as a fact that every member of this great party belongs to a ward. And at that word, you are a member. You are subject to the rule that applies to everyone in the word. The position of national chairman is simply a position of authority at the national level of the structure. It does not mean that you are immune from disciplinary procedures that are well conceived. However, there's a proviso that when you're dealing with somebody who is holding a national office or a state office or geopolitical zonal office, which is in a position to exert influence over the wards and the local governments, then it must be ratified up to the level where such officers are. And this is what you are seeing that is playing out. So let me, first of all, disentangle the kind of immunity that your question may suggest. There is no such immunity.
All right. I want to go back to Johanna, but I mean, we look at the allegations or the charges said to have been brought by the ward executives against the national chairman, talking about the allegations against him, and they're saying he needs to clear his name before the suspension is lifted. But your party's constitution in Article 21, talking about the offenses under that article, says that offenses against the party shall include the following: a breach of any provision of this constitution; 2, anti-party activities or any conduct which is likely to embarrass or have adverse effect on the party or bring the party into hatred, ridicule, contempt, or a disrepute; 3, disobedience or negligence in carrying out lawful directives, and so on and so forth. As far as you're concerned, looking at all these actions, has Ganduje committed an offense going by the APC constitution? Johanna?
No, I don't think he's committed an offense. I don't think. There's this issue usually as there that one being participating in anti-party activities and bringing the party to disrepute. What Ganduje is being alleged to have done right now is something that has to do with him as a person. And he has the right to, defend himself. So it wasn't within the purview of the ward executives to have done what they have done. had expected, they should have given him the leverage to appear before the investigative panel of inquiry or investigation. And if he is found guilty there, whether by a court of law or by the investigation panel, they should now be able to wield the big stick on him, because no any party member is greater than the party. But you see now what they've just done is dropping the cart before the horse.
Okay, interesting. Sam Johanna and Okelo Madukife, gentlemen, please stay with us. And for those watching at home, we'll be right back after this commercial break. We have some more on this particular conversation. Welcome back. Still looking at the whirlwind developments, a flurry of activities in the All Progressives Congress, starting from the ward level of the party. We're talking about the ward known as Dawakin ward in Tofa local government area, where the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress and former governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, has his name in the party's membership register. Like you heard one of the guests say tonight, that is the origin of every member of the party, a political party called APC, and even the PDP. So it doesn't matter who you are. He disentangled us from this notion of immunity. So that's democracy at work. Still with us, our guests tonight, we have Sam Johanna. He is immediate past organizing secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Kaduna State, and Okelo Madukife, who is the spokesperson for the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Anambra State, the party in the eye of the storm. Okay, let's get back to our guest. Madukife, sir,
yes,
what are your thoughts on your party's constitution? Because Sam Johanna said he doesn't, believe that the board executives are obeying the party's constitution. They're simply putting the cart before the horse. But the party's constitution, Article 21A, subsection 1, or subsection 2, says, and I quote, offenses against the party shall include, anti-party activities or any conduct which is likely to embarrass or have adverse effect on the party or bring the party into hatred, contempt, ridicule, or disrepute. Going by this, is this not enough, the allegations of bribery for Ganduje to be suspended or disciplined by the party? Madukife.
Well, not on its face value. I think that embodied in that encouchment is the burden of interpretation. And that is where the hierarchy becomes important. Who is in a position to determine that something has been done that will embarrass the party? That's an important question in understanding what is playing out. And you also appreciate that time is a factor in all of this, time and due process. Everything we've heard has happened today in one day. One day, a suspension allegation has been made. I don't know whether there's any fair hearing. A decision has been made. That decision has been reversed. A counter-offensive in terms of action has been taken. And so some of these steps that have political exaggeration will begin to get proportional as the days go by. I don't think that the ward executive is in a position to decide that Ganduje has embarrassed the party by opposition action. Because
what do you mean by opposition action, Madukife? What do you mean by opposition action?
The opposition action is in the sense that there's a government in Kano State which is run by NNPP. And that government showed its hand early in the day, not by taking that Ganduje to court for bribery, usurping the police function, but by destroying facilities built with state funds. That it demonstrated that you could carry personal hatred or political war into a different dimension by wasting the resources of state. That's enough for any average follower of events.
But Mr. Madukife, you yourself, you declined to say whether the action of the Ward Congress has a link with the NNPP. It was you who said just some minutes ago that you can't tell. You have no evidence to show that the actions of your party's ward exco in Kano State are linked to NNPP. Why are you now linking it to the NNPP?
There's no contradiction. I said I have no way to determine whether they held a meeting to carry out the agenda of NNPP on the national chairman as they have been accused. However, it is distinct from analyzing the actions of NNPP since enthronement. It is a fact, it is in the public domain that they destroyed public facilities which would have been properly redesigned if indeed there was a fault. And it's traceable to political warmongering.
Yeah, but Okilo Madukife, the question I asked you was that going by your party's constitution, is the ward executive from Ganduje's ward, are they doing the right thing? You know, when you look at Article 21, subsection A2 of suspending Ganduje, pending the determination of the allegations against him, the charges against him.
Yes, again, I approach it by saying that we can only sum up on general terms at the time being. There are no documents before us. I don't know whether what we hear on television or what we read online is exhaustive of the issues. But if it is just that which we are seeing before us, then there is no justification.
Okay.
Because they are not in a position to take a bird's eye view and determine that Ganduje's action has embarrassed.
Why are they not in the position? Why are they not in the position to do that?
Yeah, because they are words, they are under people, they have to. There are basic issues. For instance, if you don't pay your dues, if you have taken an action which is favorable to another political party and instead of ours, and that's what you describe as anti-party activity, plus all other things that they can quickly act on because it is clear. But this is a matter of interpretation.
But Madukife, it doesn't just talk about anti-party activity. It says any conduct which is likely to embarrass or have adverse effect on the party or bring the party into hatred, contempt, ridicule, and disrepute. But hold your thought. We want to take a commercial. We'll come back to you after that, and we'll continue talking. Let's see if we can proceed with this conversation. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Let's proceed with our conversation tonight with our guests, members of the All Progressives Congress, who are giving their thoughts on whether the ward executive of the party obeying the party's constitution by proceeding to suspend National Chairman Abdullahi Ganduje. These are ward executives of his party. Of course, the State Working Committee has overturned that suspension. Johanna and Okelo Madukife, stay with me. Johanna, let's still look at Article 21 of the Constitution of your party. Your counterpart of the program, Madukife, a fellow member of the APC, thinks that, yes, he's agreeing with you that the ward excos don't have right now enough information to be able to proceed with this. Indeed, it was who accused the ward excos of getting ahead of themselves and putting the cart before the horse. But I want to ask you, because Article 21 of your party's constitution clearly says that it's an offense, to commit a conduct that will, bring the party to disrepute, that will bring the party to ridicule. Now, we have examples of politicians, political office holders, public appointees, presidents, ministers, parliamentarians, heads of agencies around the world, not in Nigeria, who, when there's an investigation, into alleged corruption, they step aside. An example, and you give me your thoughts on that later before we go. Betaidu, who is a member of the APC, who is a minister, was suspended pending investigation into it. Now, this is your party chairman, who was captured in video, full color, not in black and white, receiving monies into his babariga, US dollars for that matter. Now, I'm not here saying he's guilty, but he has been charged to court. Now, in fact, Nigerians have given it a name, Gandola is what they call him. Is that not enough for the party to say National Chairman, no, step aside because this issue is a sensitive one, bordering on corruption. Clear your name because our party is not a corrupt party. And then you can come back afterwards. Johanna.
Point of correction. In your earlier statement, you said Dawakin Tofa ward. No, Dawakin Tofa is a local government. The ward is Guangzhou ward, Dawakin Tofa local government.
Apologies.
That's okay. Like I said earlier, the allegation is yet to be substantiated. And I said, I would have expected the ward ESCO to have given time for this investigation to be carried out before they take the action they took today. And like my colleague from Anambra said, the whole thing took place within a jiffy. Allegation was made today, suspension was carried out today. Apparently, the national chairman was not even given a room to come and defend himself before the ward ESCO. So there's not even fair hearing. And the investigation panel in Kano, constituted by Governor Abdullahi Yusuf, like I said earlier, should have handed over this matter to the police because that is their responsibility. They are saddled with that responsibility. But as it is, we'll wait and see how it pans out. Then on the question of him excusing himself from office or stepping aside, that is an individual thing. If he chooses to do it, so be it. If he decides to say, okay, he wants to wait until when the investigating panel of inquiry find him guilty, that's when he will do it. It's all within his purview to do it.
I'm looking at your constitution. I don't see anywhere in Article 21B where it says that the defendant or the person who is accused must present himself or herself before the executive. I don't see anywhere here. It just simply talks about
We've had cases like this in the past where committees will be constituted at the ward level. Then whoever is alleged will be called to come and defend himself.
Yeah, I'm talking about your constitution. Yeah, Mr. Johanna, I have a copy of the APC. I'm saying I haven't seen, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen anywhere here. I'm looking at it. Article 21B. I haven't seen where it says that the accused should be allowed to defend him. It says the EXCO shall appoint a fact-finding committee, but I don't see where it says that he shall, defend himself.
Sorry, which of the constitution do you have there? Because there's a revised constitution.
I have the revised constitution here. You can check it.
Okay, that's where you're reading from.
Yes. It's a public document.
Okay.
It's a public document.
No, I don't have it handy here.
Okay, what I'm telling you.
Look at it.
Okay, let's leave that. Let's go over to the ongoing investigation into Betta Edu and others at the former minister, current minister of the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry. Are you saying, therefore, that it probably was wrong for Mr. President, going by what you're saying about Ganduje, that President Bola Tinubu did the wrong thing to suspend Betta Edu when the investigation has not run its full course?
These are Mr. President's appointees, and Mr. President has the right at any time to hire and fire. All like in the political party situation, where party executives are elected when Congress takes place. So these are two different matters where you're trying to bundle up together. Mr. President appointed his ministers. So he has the prerogative to fire them and hire them.
All right. I want to bring in Madu Kife or Kelo Madu Kife. What are your thoughts on the EFCC saying that, it has discovered 32.7 billion naira and $445,000 in its ongoing investigation into the Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Development Ministry? Madu Kife, sorry.
Thank you very much. Before I go to EFCC, let me observe that you're right. The constitution of APC will not be explicit as to whether people will defend themselves. But the constitution of APC is not independent. It is subject to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which packages in its Bill of Rights the right to fair hearing. And so any action that you take that runs contrary to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will become null.
But the Constitution allows organizations freedom of association, freedom to have their own rules, and freedom to have their own constitution. And this is a constitution of a party.
Provided it is not inconsistent with any provisions of the higher hierarchy of laws.
But the constitution of your party allows fair hearing in that you can appeal to the next rank or the next level of your party.
No, not so fast. Even at that level of adjudication, ahead of appeal, you need to be heard. Right?
Well, this is a party. It's a group, it's an association. And if you have a rule that says in the association, this is a union, it's not civil law. So if a group says, in our group, we don't allow fair hearing, if we sack you, we sack you. I don't think it's a constitutional matter. This is not a constitutional matter.
You don't like what? You don't allow what?
This is not a constitutional matter. This is an internal party affair.
An internal party affair is subject to the Constitution.
Well, we have had judges, we've had court decisions all the way to the Supreme Court. They've refused to interfere in internal party affairs.
No, it does not mean that the moment the internal party affair comes in conflict with an act of parliament or a constitutional provision, the court gains jurisdiction.
Well, we don't have time, but I wish I could take you on. I insist this is an internal party matter. It's not a constitutional matter, Marukife.
Oh, well, so far, nobody outside the party has intervened.
Even your president, the Nigerian president also was elected on such a standing ground by the Supreme Court. That says certain matters are party matters. We have to go. We have to go. We have to go. Marukife, Okele Marukife, sir, thank you very much for your time. And Sam Yohana as well. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.
Keep the good work.
Anytime.
APC man, I don't expect you to say anything otherwise. But we hope to have you some other time. We'll keep our eyes on this story. My name is Kofi Bartels. We'll return tomorrow with the conversations that matter in Nigerian politics. Good night.